Welcome back, Shallon. Still trying to make that word happen, and I'm going to. Today, I want to talk about 6 things you absolutely have to avoid, or they're going to ruin your relationship. 6 things that are going to kill the passion, drive a guy away, and make both of you completely miserable. But first, just a reminder, if you guys have a love question of your own, or a sex question, family, health, whatever, friends, anything, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO, and click chat, and I'll get back to you in less than 24 hours, because I love talking to you guys, and I have no life, so it works out really well. All right, so I told you guys recently about things you can do to keep the passion alive in your relationship, keep the spark going, stay in that honeymoon phase. But then I realized, okay, well, we also have to be cognizant of not doing these very toxic things in a relationship, because honey, you can get as weird as you want in bed. If you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these things, it's not really gonna make a difference, you know? Number 1, first and foremost, the worst thing you can do in a relationship, jealousy. Jealousy is one of those things where I think it is an absolute cancer on a relationship, on any relationship. I get questions from you guys all the time about a jealous friend or like a jealous sister, and they're not happy for you, and everything they say has this like filter of jealousy through it, and they don't want you seeing other people. And it's like, I can feel how exhausted you guys are recounting all of this to me, and the toll it has taken on you dealing with someone who is jealous. Like at the very beginning of someone's jealous behavior, it's flattering, right? You're like, oh, they just don't want me to go anywhere. They just want to know where I am and who I'm with. And then it's like, they don't want me to go anywhere, and they want to know where I am and who I'm fucking with. It's not a compliment, it's a control thing. And to guys, a jealous girl, oh. Now, as I've said before, of course, on paper, we all know that this is a bad thing to do, but we probably see guys in relationships with jealous, crazy girls, and we're like, okay, well, why is he with her then? Like, he could be with me and have a much better relationship. Like I've said in other videos, we as humans tend to date people who remind us of our most difficult parent. This is a psychological truth. And when we see people in these toxic relationships, that's because that particular kind of toxicity is familiar to them. And it's, in a way, their comfort zone. We date people who remind us of our difficult parent because we're subconsciously trying to do that relationship over and get it right. Doesn't really work. Instead, you just have a toxic parent doing this, and then you have a toxic partner doing this, and it's in stereo, and that sucks. So jealousy, why do we get jealous as girls? It's fear. It's a fear-based decision, and this is at best, it's a fear-based decision. At worst, you're kind of a sociopath, and you don't want a relationship, you want like a minion, you want someone to control. That's not good. You should talk to someone about that. But let's say you're not a card-carrying psychopath. Let's say you just are really afraid of this person leaving you. One of the things I had to do when my marriage fell apart was confront all of those worst-case scenarios. Everything I always was afraid of happened. I lost everything that I had. I mean, from like my status as a wife to the emotional protection of my husband and like feeling like I had a partner. I lost the idea that I knew what my future was going to be in some degree. I lost like my penthouse apartment and all of my amazing pieces of furniture. Like, from the esoteric to the actual, I dealt with it. And I survived. I mean, there were dark moments, for sure, hard days, but there were some really fun days, you know? And I realized then, being alone and being single is not the boogeyman that society tells us it is. And I'm so fucking sick of girls getting that message that like, being alone, being single, being childless, being unmarried, not have a boyfriend, not having a date to prom is like the worst thing that could happen to you. Why? Yeah, it's great to be in a relationship if you're in a good relationship, but it's terrible to be in a relationship that's bad. And it's terrible to feel like you're chasing someone just so you aren't alone. Being alone feels better than feeling that desperateness of chasing or that craziness of being jealous and clingy where you're going through all the comments on whatever he posted on Insta and going on a deep dive down this girl's page and that girl's page. And it's like, that is not fun. it's not fun for very long anyway. Like at first you're like, you're just like a cat, like playing with something. And then you're like, you lurk and you get your feelings hurt and you're like, fuck, this is terrible. So when I found myself doing that with an ex-boyfriend recently, I was like, what is the worst case scenario here? He's out there cheating on me. Okay, say that's the case. I lose him. And I go out and find another guy. There's 8 billion people in the world. Do I really think he's the only dude? Come on. And that really kind of like helped me loosen the knots and helped me get a little less jealous. I also had to analyze that part of me liked the drama. I liked that feeling of jealousy. It stoked something within me that had truthfully been missing in my marriage, because this is the first guy I dated after that. And it's like, I liked that that little like craziness, because my marriage was very like copacetic until of course it like went up in flames. But it's like I needed that drama. I needed that little thing to pick around at. But overall, jealousy is terrible. No one likes feeling like that. When you guys email me about your friends, I can feel that you're exhausted by it. No one likes a jealous person. Okay, number 2. Worst thing you can do in a relationship is not have any goals set for yourself. No interests, no goals. Bored people are boring. People with interests are interesting. That's why those words correlate. That's how that goes. I think I do really well with guys because I know a little bit about a whole lot of things. I have tried an incredibly wide and diverse variety of hobbies, from ROTC to theater to rodeo to hockey. I've done a lot of different things. I've been a lot of places. I work very hard to diversify myself and to make myself interesting, because at the end of the day, you have to come home to your partner, sit on the phone with them, go out to dinner, whatever, and you have to have something to say. Even if your relationship is mostly sexual, eventually you have to stop having sex and you have to like go get a sandwich and you have to sit and talk to this person. And it's really frustrating when you're like, he's so hot, I just want to put my mouth on him, and yet when he opens his mouth, God help me. You don't want to be that person either. And it's hard. Again, as girls, we get the message like when you have a boyfriend, like it's got to be all about him. No, that doesn't do anything good for your relationship. When you have goals of your own, you become very interesting to him, because as I've said before, what does a guy find mentally stimulating? A girl who withholds her time. The easiest way to do this is to be actually busy. You're not playing hard to get, you are hard to get. You've got a full social calendar, you've got goals, you've got priorities. I will see you when I can see you. And he's gonna be like, because he's just gonna be so stimulated, always chasing you. Number 3, worst thing you can do in a relationship, obsess about your body flaws. Again, I've said before in videos, I've hooked up with guys and girls. And I've hooked up with girls, models, and then girls who are a little bit chubby, a little bit more to love, cellulite. I prefer the latter. It's just not like, there's nothing wrong with a model chick, but it's like the girl who was a little bit like squishier, it was just like different sensations, which was cool. I was like, oh, she's like firm here and she's like squishy there, and like that's cool. Yay, neat. The worst person I ever hooked up with was like, no, don't look at me there. Yeah, no, I didn't. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is tiring. It's like you're trying to eat food and the food is fighting you back. It's like, I just want to eat this food. This is why I'm here, okay? If I'm already hooking up with you, and I'm saying this as if I was a guy, because when I hook up with a girl, I am like a guy. It's like, I've already bought the ticket. I'm in. I'm in for whatever is you got going on. It's great. Like, guys are like, cool, it's a naked girl. This is amazing. They're not looking at your body, inspecting it for flaws the way we are. And when you point something out, they're not, I mean, it's like, what do you think of when I say don't think of a blue elephant? Now it's all you can think of. If you point out your flaws, from a stretch mark to cellulite to maybe a hair that you don't want there to a breakout or something, that's all they're going to see too. You have to minimize what you don't like and play up what you do. I'm not like a boob person. I don't love my boobs. I do love my butt. So guess what? I don't walk around topless, honey. I walk around in little booty shorts. So when you feel confident with your body, you're going to engage him more. You're going to bond more sexually, which brings me to my next point. Bad thing in your relationship, limiting your sexual activities. Like I've said before, sex is the one thing that's just free. They can't tax it, regulate it, tell you how to do it. You don't have to take a test to qualify for it. You don't need a license. You can get as weird as you want. This is your body. Everything that your body does, every sexual impulse that you have, God created. Mother Nature created. This is all by design. None of it's dirty or wrong. If you're not hurting anyone else, if there's consent there, get weird. This is what's going to help you guys grow and bond as a couple, is a feeling of open communication. Because if you don't have that, that's going to bleed over into other areas. I've been in relationships like that where I didn't feel like I could talk about like sex stuff. And then it's like, well, if I can't tell him how I'm feeling sexually, I kind of want to tell him how I'm feeling emotionally. And then you have a relationship that is stagnated in terms of communication. You're done. Last but not least, in fact, this is the most important thing. The worst thing you can do in a relationship is have an agenda for it. Again, girls have been conditioned that this is how it goes. You meet, you date, you move in together, you get engaged, you get married, you have a baby. That's how it fucking goes. And if it deviates from that, or God forbid it doesn't hit all those markers, your relationship is somehow deficient, weird, do not ship, not okay. I fell victim to that with the person I married. I was obsessed, and I was never like a girl who dreamt of her wedding. I was never like, I have to get married by this age because I have to do this. But for some reason, in that relationship, I was like, we've lived together this long, we need to get engaged, we need to get married, and it spelled doom for us. And I think the reason I was so fixated on that is because I was not feeling okay with where I was in my career. And so instead of focusing on my own things, setting goals, having interests, I funneled all of my energy into my relationship and put it on a path that maybe organically it shouldn't have been on. Chasing. I chased. You can do that within a relationship. It manifests in a whole bunch of different ways. Instead now, my boyfriend and I, because I've been married, because I've lived with someone, I don't want to do any of that. I am good. So I don't have this like, well, where are we going next? And I'm not trying to like check boxes and like look for the next mile marker. I'm just enjoying him. And we've been together a long time now, like 9 months, 10 months. It's wild. And to me, it feels like we've been together for 2 months. It's all so new. It's so exciting. It's so interesting. I have such a crush on him because I'm so in the present. I'm in the moment. And that's what people talk about when they speak of mindfulness. Mindfulness means staying locked in the present, not obsessing over what happened to you in the past, not projecting about, I need to do this and I'm off schedule and I have to be normal. I'm making fear-based decisions. When you're in the present, you are so focused on your partner in the moment, in the relationship, that's what allows that chemistry to spark. And when you have that chemistry, other things really fall into place. So just to recap, try not to be jealous. If you are, really get to the root of what it is you're afraid of happening and accept that worst case scenario, you can handle it. Set goals and have interests. I forgot this. Sorry. Bonus point, don't be too agreeable. This is like a huge thing. It goes along with having interests. Guys don't want to date their clone. They don't want to date a mirror image. And if they do, that's an abusive person because that means they're not looking for a partner, an equal. They're looking for a fan and someone they can manipulate. Someone who's going to blindly agree with them. Yeah, no, I like that team too. I also hate frozen yogurt. Cats are great. Have your own interests. It's those differences that create conversation in a relationship, and that's going to show a guy you have your own shit going on and he's going to respect you. Downplay the body issues, play up the sexual adventure, and don't focus too hard on where this relationship is going. Instead, focus on where it is. For more, click like and subscribe for new videos every Friday. And like I said, find me on the Instant Go app and we can chit chat about all this and more. Stay savage, Shalloners. Love you.